Die Hard is one of the most beloved action films of all time. Bruce Willis as John McClane has firmly woven himself into the fabric of pop culture. Now, Die Hard may be a classic movie, but is it a classic Christmas movie? This annual debate rages every Christmas season. There are some very passionate people on both sides. But I am here to definitively prove once and for all that there is an answer to the question of whether or not Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And that answer is a resounding yes. Over the years, I have had a lot of different people give me a lot of different reasons that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. And I have never found a single one of them at all compelling. And this isn't just, I want Die Hard to be a Christmas movie because it'd be fun. It is a Christmas movie by every objective measure, and anyone who says otherwise is wrong.
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Yes, including him, and I've got proof. I have spent the last few days scouring the comment sections of every single one of my Die Hard being a Christmas movie posts. And I've also looked through the internet to try and find every possible reason, stupid or legitimate, that it is not a Christmas movie. And I am here to go through each one of those one by one so that no one can ever say again that it is not a Christmas movie. So without further ado, let's begin. So some people think that the level of violence and action and explosions disqualifies it for being a Christmas movie. And while it is true that Christmas movies tend to be lighthearted, family-friendly, and fun, there are several that are not. For example, the movie that came out last year starring David Harbour as the literal Santa Claus called Violent Night. This movie has the literal Santa Claus murdering people with icicles, candy canes, and sledgehammers. It is 10 times more violent than Die Hard. Die Hard has some blood, but it doesn't really have gore. It has people getting shot and cut and blown up. But Violent Night is so much more gruesome than anything that shows up in Die Hard, and yet people have no problem calling that a Christmas movie because Santa Claus is the main character. The presence of blood and gore and violence and action does not negate the ability of a film to be a Christmas movie. In fact, here are just a few of the Christmas action and horror films that exist. Oh, that's a good one. And I think we can all agree that a Christmas movie can contain violence and scary elements. I mean, for Pete's sake, A Christmas Carol, have you ever read the original book? It's terrifying. And pretty much every version of A Christmas Carol deals with death and the Grim Reaper and existential crises. Have you ever seen the movie Scrooge? That is one of the creepiest versions of A Christmas Carol you will ever watch. So it's not just movies that are violent and scary. There's also classic Christmas tales that are violent and scary as well. So with that point firmly stricken from the list, let's move on to the next one, and that is that Santa Claus never makes an appearance. Now, there's two things that the people that make this argument could be saying. One is that the image of Santa Claus never makes an appearance. And the second is that Santa Claus himself never shows up. And so I'm going to address both of these criticisms. First of all, the image of Santa is all over the movie. There's plastic Santas everywhere in the Nakatomi building. Even weirdly in unfinished construction zones, which, by the way, shows that the set dressers are making sure to remind you, even in a part of the building where people are not decorating for Christmas, there's Christmas decorations. They're trying to remind you this is happening during Christmas. Now, for the second one, that Santa himself doesn't make an appearance, I don't know why this is a genuine qualifier for some people, because there are plenty of Christmas movies that do not have the literal Santa Claus in them. He doesn't show up in any of the Home Alone films. He doesn't show up in It's a Wonderful Life. And of course, he doesn't show up in anything that's about the Nativity. Santa Claus is just one of the many icons of the Christmas season. Y'all need to remember that Jesus is the reason for the season. You bunch of sinners. So the fact that there are plenty of Christmas movies where the literal Santa doesn't show up, and that in Die Hard his image at least shows up, means that this argument is also not viable. There's a lot of variation in the third point I'm going to go over, but they can kind of be summed up in not every movie that takes place at Christmas time or in December is a Christmas movie. And this is true. For example, I don't think that Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie. Other versions of this argument are that by my logic of Die Hard being a Christmas movie, then that would make the Harry Potter movies Christmas movies. But the Harry Potter movies take place over the course of an entire year. And during that school year, Christmas is a portion of it. So while Christmas makes an appearance in most of the Harry Potter films, those films do not take place over the Christmas season, but rather the entire year. If you're going to tell the story of that entire year, then you have to include Christmas because it happens during the school year. So I do agree that not all December movies and movies based in the Christmas season are Christmas movies, but because of the reasons I will get to later, this movie is a Christmas film because of other elements of it. Now, my fourth point is a quick one. It doesn't have snow or a Christmas tree. One, I think there are Christmas trees, and two, it's based in LA. Have you ever been to Los Angeles in December? You're lucky if it dips below 70 degrees. Heat miser goes there to celebrate the holiday. So the fact that it doesn't have snow doesn't negate the fact it's a Christmas movie. Are you telling me because I live in the San Francisco Bay Area and it snowed once in the 30 years I've lived here that I don't get to celebrate Christmas? No. Christmas movies don't need snow. Just because I've had 2 white Christmases in my entire life because I went to Washington and Alaska respectively for them, doesn't mean my other 28 Christmases don't count, okay? That's weatherist. Touchy subject. I like the snow. So point numero 5, Die Hard came out during the 4th of July weekend. Now, I will admit this one took me a second to justify to myself, but then I started looking at the release dates of some other holiday-centric movies. For example, Hocus Pocus came out July 16th of its release year. No one ever argues that this Bette Midler vehicle about 3 sister witches terrifying trick-or-treaters on Halloween, centering around a Halloween-themed curse, isn't a Halloween movie just because it was released on July 16th, several months before the actual holiday. So why are we doing the same for Die Hard? I know what you're saying. That's a Halloween movie. We're talking about Christmas movies. Okay, fine. It's a Wonderful Life came out in January. That's literally as far back from Christmas as you can get. That's insane. That is as far from a Christmas movie as you can get. That's already the new year. We have reset. Trees are down. Decorations are boxed up. People are not thinking about Christmas in mid-January. And yet, It's a Wonderful Life is considered one of the quintessential Christmas films of all time. Although that actually has to do with the fact that they didn't renew the copyright, and so it went into the public domain, which meant that when TV came about, a bunch of studios were trying to find stuff to put on the air during Christmas, and so they found in the public domain this very recent Christmas movie that they could put on with a star who was still a big star at the time. Like, hey, It's a Wonderful Life. So TV is actually the reason why It's a Wonderful Life is the classic it is today. If it wasn't for TV, It's a Wonderful Life would have been forgotten to the annals of history because of the terrible release date. The next one is another short answer. Any other party would do. So the Christmas party is being used as a way to more easily steal the $640 million in negotiable bearer bonds. And a lot of people have argued it could have been any other office party. However, there are several reasons why it had to be a Christmas party. Number one, Christmas parties are predictable. Any major company that size, at least in the 80s, is going to be having a Christmas party. Number two, they needed less security. There's going to be less people in the building at night, so there's going to be less security, and they're going to be running on a skeleton crew during Christmas so more people can have the holiday off. Not to mention more shift changes because people tend to work shorter shifts during the holidays. Number 3, all those smaller businesses that are renting space in Nakatomi Plaza, yeah, they needed to be gone. And that is a good reason for them all to be gone. It's Christmas Eve. Just an ordinary office party would not work for Hans Gruber's plot. It had to be a Christmas party. And more importantly to this argument of it could take place at any other time of the year, all you need is an office party, is it was during a Christmas party, and plenty of other movies could take place during other times of the year that are Christmas movies. For example, How the Grinch Stole Christmas could be How the Grinch Stole Valentine's Day. Maybe the Grinch asked a girl to be his Valentine when he was a kid, and then she said no, embarrassed him, he got bitter, grew to hate the holiday, and then he decided to steal everyone's chocolates and cards. That movie still works. He can still learn a lesson. Heck, that makes more sense because his heart grows and it's shaped like one of those boxes of chocolates. Home Alone could have been a summer vacation. The whole neighborhood could be empty for the wet bandits because all the families are on summer vacation, and the McAllisters would still be leaving and going to another country and leaving Kevin behind. No one's going to miss him at school because it's summer vacation. So Home Alone doesn't need to happen at Christmas either. But the writers purposely chose to make it during Christmas. Same with Die Hard. It is during Christmas, and even though you could write a version of Die Hard that works at a different time of the year, doesn't negate the fact that it does happen during Christmas, and it is a Christmas movie. Which brings us to our next argument. Christmas isn't central to the plot. Again, it is. Hans Gruber needs it to be Christmas for his plot to work. The whole reason why John McClane is going all the way across the country is to attend the Christmas party of the company his wife works at. Christmas is central to the plot. And let's just keep this rolling into our second to last point against it being a Christmas movie, and that is that it lacks the themes of Christmas. Let me ask you something. What is more Christmas than a man trying to fix his marriage with his estranged wife by going through the perils of an office holiday party? Okay? What's more Christmas than that? All joking aside, 2 of the main themes of the film are self-sacrifice and reconciliation. Do you know who lived a life devoted to self-sacrifice and reconciliation? This little guy, right here. The whole story of Christmas is about God coming to earth to reconcile with his bride, the church, and to self-sacrifice on the cross. So I'm going to tell you, John McClane, he's a Jesus archetype. Doesn't get more Christmas than that. Doesn't get more Christmas. Okay? It's practically an analogy for Jesus. I'm telling you. Now, before I get to the reasons why it is definitively a Christmas movie, we have one more naysayer to address. John McClane himself. Bruce Willis. The betrayal I felt when I saw this clip. The man himself denies the veracity of Die Hard's Christmasness. But then I looked into the clip. Do you know where this very famous Die Hard is not a Christmas movie clip comes from? The roast of Bruce Willis. Do you know what a roast is? A roast is where a bunch of celebrities get together and just rag on another celebrity. It's all consensual and the celebrity's there to witness it. It's not like they just decide, oh, we're going to make fun of this one guy. We're not going to invite him, but we're going to televise it. No, it's all in good fun. The celebrity's there. And it usually ends with the celebrity giving their own speech where they get a chance to take shots at all the people that took shots of them. Well, Bruce Willis ends his with this clip that Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It's a roast. The speeches are full of jokes and things designed to rile people up. He didn't do this seriously. He's never actually been on record as saying in a serious capacity that it's not a Christmas movie. In fact, his own daughters were recorded by TMZ saying that in the Willis household, Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Question, the whole world has always had this huge debate, and I wonder, does the Willis...
It's a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie?
It's a Christmas movie.
I love...
So there we go, the most concrete piece of evidence that it is not a Christmas movie, that everyone who says it isn't uses, isn't even true. It's fake news. His own daughters confirmed that he thinks it's a Christmas movie. So, we've talked a lot about the negatives. A lot of people who say it's not a Christmas movie. Now let's get into the reasons that it is. Okay, let's get into the positives. All right, there's going to be a lot less yelling in this part, I hope. Now, the Bruce Willis thing is actually the perfect transition to get into this point because Bruce Willis starred in the movie. But we have to remember Bruce Willis at the time was not a big actor. He had done some television work, and he was not the kind of actor at the time, the kind of superstar that got to make creative decisions about the plot of movies or got to have input or get producer credits on stuff like that. So when you look at a movie, the people who made the movie, the people who make those creative decisions of what a movie is and isn't going to contain, are the screenwriters and the director. Now, all three, because there's two screenwriters, have agreed that it is a Christmas movie. John McTiernan, who is the director, said that when he was making the movie, he didn't think of it as a Christmas movie. However, it has grown to become one. He's the director. He's the secondary vision on a film. Because remember, a director is handed a script, and while they make changes for the sake of the story, the intentionality behind plot elements, lines, and different features of the movie are made by the screenwriters. And both screenwriters said, from the beginning, they considered it a Christmas movie. Steven de Souza said he definitely considers it a Christmas movie and was considering it a Christmas movie while making it. Jeb Stewart takes it a step further and says a lot of the emotional core of the movie comes from his time of being an East Coaster living in LA during Christmas and the lack of snow and festivities that he experienced. The three people in it that make the decisions about the themes and the plot and the elements all said it is a Christmas movie. Even the composer added elements of Christmas music into the score. There's two kinds of music in a movie, the soundtrack and the score. The soundtrack is pre-existing songs that they'll put into a movie, or if it's a musical, the songs sung by the characters. That's your soundtrack. But then you have your score, and that is the instrumental orchestral music that underpins the film. This is the non-diegetic music that we listen to, the big swelling trumpets and drums and violins that we hear. And then the soundtrack is things like Christmas in Hollis, which is played by Argyle at the beginning of the film. Both of these contain Christmas music. Argyle, of course, playing that famous Run DMC Christmas song, Christmas in Hollis. And then the score has elements of White Christmas and Jingle Bells intermixed into different characters' themes. So, from the writers, the director, and the composer, Christmas is woven throughout this entire film, intentionally so that it could be enjoyed as a Christmas movie. One other little element that I thought was fun was in the book, because yes, Die Hard is based off a book. Hans Gruber is not the name of the villain. It is Anton. The writers changed his name to Hans as an homage to Franz Gruber, the man that put Silent Night to music. So in summation, the plot revolves around Christmas. Characters are named after icons of Christmas music. Christmas is woven throughout the imagery, the set decoration, the themes, the musical composition, the dialogue, and everyone involved with the creative underpinnings of this film have confirmed it is a Christmas movie. So, if after all of this, you still think it is not a Christmas movie, you are part of the group of individuals that say, just because it isn't. These are the most frustrating individuals of all because they don't care about their fellow man. They don't care about the truth. They care about being special, being different, being their little contrarian self for the sake of being contrary. So we are done arguing about whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It is as much of a Christmas movie as How the Grinch Stole Christmas, or It's a Wonderful Life, or Miracle on 34th Street, or Gremlins, or Batman Returns. Yes, both of those last two are Christmas movies as well, and if you want proof, I'll prove it. Please, can this conversation be done? And can we all just enjoy the movie every December like so many of us already have? Let's just unify and enjoy it together. Come across nations and socioeconomic lines and ethnic differences and religions and just say, yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. We accept it. So what do you think? Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?